It's Mr. Catlin here with the first problem on lesson 5, and I decided to do the shown work beforehand because I think if I talked about it and wrote it at the same time, I couldn't squeeze it into a 5-minute video. So I put them over here, A, B, C, D, E. This is my shown work to receive all the answers. If you're finding the cost per item, per pound of each item, then you're finding unit price, which is just taking the money and dividing by the pounds. And so I did that, 5 divided by 4. It turned out to be $1.25. You can see my shown work there for that. B, I did 3.5 divided by 1/2 because it was a half of a pound on this second one here. So I divided by 1/2, but I used our little trick that dividing by a half can be shown with multiplication by its reciprocal. So I just did 3.5 times 2, and that was easy. That was 7. So that gave me $7 per pound for B. And then on C, I did 8.25 divided by 1.5. So I did a little fraction trickery here, and I doubled both the 1.5 and the 8.25 to get 1650 and 3. And 3 is a little bit easier of a divisor to work with, and it went into 1650 and nice $5.50 for C. And then on this one, I kind of did some more fraction trickery. If I want to get rid of a fraction and make it whole, multiply by the denominator, and you'll have the numerator left over. So instead of 3/4 of fudge, you could multiply it by 4 and think of it as 3 pounds. And if you multiply 6 and 3/4 by 4, you actually get 27. So 27 divided by 3 was a lot easier to divide than these two numbers. So I liked that better. It came out as a nice whole $9 per pound is what you're paying. And then the last one, there's a nice long line of my thought process here. I probably went a little bit longer of a route than needed, but 5.5 is 5.50, 6.25. First thing I did here was I changed them into improper, and then after I changed them into improper fractions, I did a little KCC, or some of you from elementary remember keep, change, flip, and then common factors reduced. 4 and 2, and then 11 times 2 and 1 times 25 to get my answer, which was this. I was like, hey, this is money. Nobody talks that way. So I multiplied by 4 to get that as 100, and so this was cents. So 88 cents per pound was my answer for that last one. And let's jump on into the next one for problem number 2, finding some products. Kind of similar idea here. We're multiplying a positive times a negative, so that's going to give us a negative outcome. 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 5 is 15. No common factors there, so A is just 8/15. All right, and looking at B here, we have negative 5/7 multiplied by 7/5. These are reciprocals, so the answer when you multiply them is 1, and a negative times a positive is negative. So not really much math necessary there. If you multiply a number by its reciprocal, it's 1. It's a standard law of math. So negative 2 over 39 multiplied by 39 over 1. The 39s have a common factor of their self. Negative times a positive is negative, and so for this one you get negative 2. And then let's wrap it up with D. I'll work it out right here in green. 2/5 multiplied by negative 3/4. The 2 and the 4 have a common factor of 2, so I'll factor that out. And 1 times negative 3 is negative 3, and 5 times 2 is 10, so negative 3/10 is our answer for D. And that's number 1 and number 2.